So we're going to start this practice, and it's a very gentle practice. We are going to work deep into the fascia. As I said, I have got my socks on. If you feel like you want to keep warm, then that would be absolutely wonderful. If you want a long sleeve top on, I might put mine on shortly. Now, if you take yourself down to the floor, we're going to start the practice by taking the right hand onto the belly and the left hand onto the heart. Now I've got my knees bent, and just allow your knees to fall into each other so you can feel relaxed in your posture, but your feet are grounded into the floor. Close your eyes and start to breathe slowly all the way down into the belly. Now breathing in and out, very slowly. So we're going to arrive in the present moment and arrive onto your mat, into your space. Now as you breathe in, the belly fills with oxygen. So you imagine, I mean, obviously your belly isn't filling with oxygen, your lungs are, but I want you to bring the breath right down into the belly, so the belly expands like a balloon. As you exhale, we're forcing the breath out gently. It is forced, but it is gently. We pull the belly all the way back into the spine. So the breath is really exaggerated. So inhale, ujjayi breath, and we exhale out. And pause at the bottom of the breath. So you're hanging out in the moment with no breath in the body. And then when you feel that you've had enough, that's when you inhale. And pause at the top of the breath. As long as you like, what feels right for you, and then really exhale and feel the body unfolding. Feel the body letting go. Work into the belly, work into the ribs. What do you need to let go of in the main torso of the body? So just take a detailed internal view of yourself, of your internal organs. Take an internal view of what's going on. Have a notice of what's going on in your right and your left lower rib. What's going on right in the sternum, in your breastbone. Become very aware what's going on all the way up into the armpits. Last week we did fascia release through your connective tissue in the ribs. Notice how that feels now. As you lay here really working into the breath, pausing at the top and the bottom. Feel into the hips, into the hip bones. Just really taking your internal gaze down into your physical body. Pause and then really work into the exhale, feeling like the whole body is unfolding and letting go. Pause for a bit longer at the top of the breath, make it even more powerful, so that when you exhale, you feel your body falling down into the floor even more. Connecting with your mind asking yourself with your inner voice, what is it that I need to let go of from my physical body? What is it that I need to let go of from my thoughts? And what emotions no longer serve me? And simply notice with awareness what comes up. If you're not consciously aware of anything, then there's just no need to judge. Something will arise and something will just fall away when it's ready. Keep working into the breath very powerfully. Noticing if anything that feels like it's coming from a place of fear comes up. And really take time, fill in the details, to let that go. Let it go. Let go. See, when we let go of anything, we create a wonderful space for something new and more resourceful. New energy to come into our body, into our mind, and into our lives, enabling more of what you desire to manifest. So just keep working on your breath. Just another few deep breaths here. Ujjayi breath, making sure that your breath is conscious. Keep focused. This is where we're practicing focus. Breathing in and out. And without moving too much, we're going to take the knees out to the side. So if you want to move your hands away from your body, that's absolutely fine. If you want to take them down onto your belly, that's fine. If you want to take the hands out to the side, that's absolutely fine. With this practice, you are working on yourself. You come into a comfortable position, what is right for you. This is where you can take your practice and you can just do it with your eyes closed to allow yourself to just be with yourself. So many times we don't really have the time and space to be with ourselves. And if we are, we're always doing, working on something, busying ourselves on our careers, our families, our house. So now is the time for you to not only be with yourself, but to really be with yourself. So that again, you can be very aware of what comes up during this practice. Because we're working into the deeper fascia of the body, things come up as we're lying in stillness. Again, there may be emotions, there may be thoughts. Things may just come up from your unconscious mind that
maybe need to be processed, that you didn't even realise you'd forgotten about. And again, just to be aware is wonderful. There doesn't need to be any judgment. Just awareness is so perfect. With that awareness, then we can choose to take responsibility. This responsibility then leads into resilience. Again, responsibility is a very different energy than blame. Responsibility claims resilience. So feel yourself relaxing and letting go of any resistance. So notice any area of the body that feels like there may be a little bit of resistance going on. Maybe into the breath, maybe into the ribs, into these hips, or even the jaw or the forehead. Notice what you notice. Breathing in and out. Breathing in. Working deeper into the breath now. That's it, let go of that last bit of resistance as we come towards the end of our time here. And remember, as we come out of these postures, we think about it first. We think about it. And then we can start to move the knees slowly towards each other. Really slowly. Maybe you can just take one foot off the floor very gently, and then the other. Just work really kindly into your body, and then bringing the knees into the chest, simply rocking out from side to side, and then rolling. That's it, rolling. The knees around. Think about the lower part of the spine being massaged into the floor as you circle the knees one way and then the other. Pulling the knees down, really squeezing the knees into the body. Tuck the chin back. And again, rocking from side to side. Coming over to one side. And in the kindest, slowest way possible, we're going to make our way up to sitting. So, I'm going to do some work on the legs today. We're going to just firstly come into our forwards fold. Now, because we're doing more restorative practice, there really is no need for you to start holding and pulling down. We want to work gently. Of course, if that's the way that you're feeling like you want to practice this morning, it's your practice. But I'm going to just bring the body forwards with the palms facing up. So breathing in and out. So we're working into the belly. It's really easy here in this posture for us to start rounding the back. But we want to bring the belly down towards the thighs first. Breathing in and out. So again, feel free to close your eyes here and become very aware of the body unfolding. We're going to stay here for a couple of minutes. And again, checking in with that wonderful Ujjayi breath. So here, I'd really like it if you could focus on the inhale and the exhale. So breathing in and out for equal amounts of time. And again, working into the detail of this. Ujjayi breath. With the exhale, sink even deeper down. Even deeper down. Breathing in. And again, keep your mind focused. I know it wants to wander off sometimes. But keep the mind focused. Doing really well. Stay with it. Now I'm going to suggest that we have 5 more breaths. However, I'm going to be asking you to be mindful, because what happens is we can often rush those breaths. So breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Now again, really thinking about lifting out of your posture. Think about it and just take a rebound posture or just a counter posture. So what I'm going to do is just roll down on the floor and just rock my feet out from side to side and just take a couple of breaths here. Now notice what happens in your body. And bend the knees, rolling up again. Okay, so we're going to work into shoelace. So I almost feel like I want to apologise already. So, depending on where you are in your hips, we're going to take one foot round to one side of the hip, and we're going to swing the other round. So in the yang flow, this is the bottom half of what's called cow's base posture. Now, you've got to work with your body. If putting the lower leg underneath you just does not serve you, then just leave it out. Feel how, if you've got a knee problem, or if it just doesn't feel right. Of course, if you want to put a little blanket under the knee, or under the bottom, sorry, or a prop to allow your sitting bones to be attached to the floor, then please feel free to do that. Just going to work into the time so that we're even on both sides. Now, we're going to lean forwards into this and hold still. Now, notice where you're holding resistance here. Breathing in and out. Now slightly moving forwards. Now the trick is here to be as still as possible. Literally as still as possible, she says as she wiggles around. And then you can work to your edge. Now remember, your edge isn't a painful place. It's literally your edge, where you feel a slight resistance, but you can breathe into it and soften it. At this point, when we're working here, the mind doesn't want to be thinking, oh, this is really painful. How long am I sitting here for? Oh, gosh, this is really awful. We don't want to be at that edge. If that's the case, pull yourself back a little bit. This shouldn't be torture. It might be a small challenge, but not torture. And we're getting to that point in the posture where maybe you can take your edge and move it a little bit. Maybe you can pull forward. Do be aware that your chin hasn't dropped to your chest. You do want to make sure that you have a little bit of support in the neck so that your lungs are fully able to take the breath in. Breathing in and out. Now check, is your inhale as long as your exhale? Keep working down into it. Feeling your body soften. Being totally present in your body. Deepen the breath now. Feel your body soften. One last deep breath. remember to think about it first. Think about moving the body. Just take your fingertips back behind you and release the back first. Now we're not going to move a great deal here. We're going to come into pigeon. So we're going to lift the right leg or the leg that we have on top all the way back behind. So let me just change positions. So now my hips are okay, they feel quite flexible. If not, you can bring that foot right down into the groin, or you can lift up a little bit. Now, if you've got any issues with the knee to press into the heel, we turn the body around and allow ourselves to fall forward. So I'm really quite comfortable holding down onto the back of the wrists. If that isn't for you, again, you can put yourself on a block or on a blanket. If you have problems with your blood pressure and dropping your head down doesn't feel okay for you, again, just be mindful of that. You can even take your head into your hands and hang out, holding your chin. We're going to be here for a little while, so just get yourself comfortable. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. And again, notice the area of the body that's demanding attention. And as you breathe into it, you can really mindfully let it go. Let everything go that no longer serves you. Have that intention. Your mind is incredibly powerful. Now, if you start to feel a tingling sensation in your foot or either of your feet, don't worry, it will all come back. Just notice the sensation in your body. And just be still and present within it. Keep working into your breath. Feel into these last few breaths in. Let go. Everything go, let it go. Now again, think about moving. Think about it first. And then when you're coming up, do it very mindfully. Very mindfully. swinging the back leg through. And if you want to give your leg a little shake out in front of you, please feel free to do that. So, I know you're going to thoroughly enjoy this next posture. So, we are going to place the bottom foot underneath the knee. It's not tucked in like you're doing a cross-leg posture. So if we were doing cross-leg, this foot will be pulled all the way back, but it's not. It comes out so it's underneath the knee. So we've got more of a shape here. Now, if you're tight in your hips, this knee's going to be up here. The foot hands off. So I don't know if you can see where mine is. It's here. It's not pulled back because that will be so much easier. Yeah? So make sure this leg is out front. And if this is dropping down and it feels comfortable, just bring this foot over a little bit more. Make sure this foot is pulled under the knee so you can't see it underneath the leg. Now lean into this. Lengthen. And again, slightly leaning forwards. So feel into this posture. If you're finding this posture really easy, bring the lower leg forwards a little bit more. Bring the foot over on top of the knee a little bit more. And leaning forwards. Breathing in and out. So if you're tight into your hips, just sitting here may be a challenge. Maybe you can lean forwards a little bit. We don't necessarily want to lean forward with the back because that will take the emphasis on off the pelvis. So if you lean forwards from your belly, from the lower back, you will definitely feel the depth into the hip. So you're working into the hip of the top leg more so. Breathing in and out. Feeling into your edge. That's it, you're doing so well. Slow the breath. 3 deep, slow breaths here. Think about coming out. Think about it. Releasing. And then we're going to take the legs wide. So moving forwards. So we're working the hips one way and then we're working them the other. So really focusing on hips and legs today. Anybody that knows me very well knows I'm constantly working into the hips. Constantly, whether I'm doing a dynamic flow, hips are wonderful and they should be really nourished and taken care of, especially for us women where we keep our emotions in our hips. Breathe in and out, feeling the length of the body come down again. So again, just really working into as flat as back as possible. So peeling forward from the lower back rather than rounding back just to get yourself as low down as you can. So push into your heels and then just relax into your breath. Feel the openness in the body. Feel the breath calming. Noticing your edge. Feel the peace in the body. Again, really working on letting go. No longer serves you. Any tightness or restrictions. That's it. You did really well. Beautiful work. Thinking about moving. Thinking about moving. Move all the way up. And then this time, we're going to take the other leg on top now. It's been a few minutes since we last did shoelace. So what we need to remember is when we went into pigeon, which leg was on the top and which leg was on the bottom. So I think I'm the wrong way around. Because we simply drew back and did this. So remembering which leg went on the top and which leg went on the bottom. There we go, I'm right now. And again, bringing one foot round to one hip and one foot round to the other as best as you can. Maneuver yourself. If you want to go a bit tighter here, you lift your bottom up, squeeze the knees in together, and then just place it down onto the floor. It's just a nice little tip to enable you to get a little bit lower. So lengthen into the back, inhale, and then exhale. Now find some stillness. Notice how this feels now, this side in comparison to the last. Breathing in and out. And find your edge. Work into that beautiful breath. Feel the stillness. Focusing on the quality of your breath. Noticing if you want to move into your edge a little bit deeper. Doing so well, keep moving. Working deep into the hips this way. Often has an impact on the shoulders. So if you have any issues with the shoulders, it's really important to keep the hips flexible. Our bodies are so intricate, so detailed, so intelligent. And so what happens is, if there's a slight pull on one area of the body, the other part of the body will really compensate for that area. And it can be a tiny little millimetre of us being out of kilter. And then it will throw our spine out. And if you think the spine is so important, in between the spine and in between each vertebrae, all of the blood flow to each organ comes through each vertebrae. So if there's a slight compression in any of the discs, the blood flow to the organs is restricted, and that will then impact on how efficient that organ is. So it's so important to keep our body in alignment. Okay, let's move back out. And lift all the way through. And this time, the top leg comes all the way back. So again, moving the foot up to where is right and proper for you. Taking the back leg behind. Feel into your edge. And then take your head down to which position you feel the happiest in. So dropping down into that hip now. Breathe out. That's it. Feel yourself melting around the hip, thigh. Feel your body, and whilst you're here, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to send some love down into every muscle, nerve and fibre of your body. Send some healing, send some kindness, some acceptance. Accepting where you are, perfect, as everything is happening is in divine timing. Breathing in and out. Last 3 breaths here. You're doing so well. And slowly lifting up. Good work. And so we've got what's called our double pigeon coming forwards here. Other leg, lifting up. So we've always got one side different to the other. Always make sure this leg wants to come forwards. So you can see the toes way pointing out of the knee here. Do make sure you've got quite a big triangle in the right down here in the middle of your legs. You know that if this underneath leg is tucked in too far, your triangle isn't big enough. So really make sure that these toes, when you look down, you should see half of the foot poking out of underneath here. Good. Otherwise, you won't get as much of a depth. Now, if you're really struggling to get one leg on top of the other, that's when you can pull the foot in a little. I'll be kind and allow that. If you're really struggling to get one leg on top of the other, you can lift yourself up onto a block or a blanket a little. Because I know that if you are tight in this area, this can become a little bit uncomfortable. But just you find what posture is right for you. And again, if you're tight into the hips and your legs up here, you're going to be working into this ankle joint as well. So just lengthen all the way up and leaning forwards. And so you may find quite a big difference in between one side and the other. So just pulling the body forward to what's right for you. I remember the first few times I did this in a more yin setting. I think I was almost sick. It was just not something that I loved. But I've made peace with this. So again, just leaning forwards, if that's right for you. Work into your edge. Really feel where this feels for you. Are you feeling it into the back body? Are you feeling it into the hip? Are you being present in this feeling? That's it. Good, you're doing so well. Listen to your own breath. Just leant on my knee to give myself a little bit of extra love. I think that's kind of cheating. 3 more breaths. I'm going to think about lifting out. I'm going to think about releasing the legs. Maybe give them a little pummeling. Get the prana, the energy flowing background. We're going to roll down to the floor now. Now I've got my block, so you just use anything that you can to maybe prop you up. So let me just direct you first before you lay down. I'm going to take this block underneath the bony part, so not under the small of my back, and right under the lower part of the back into the sacral area. So you're relaxing down. Now, if you haven't got anything, you can you can even take the fists underneath that bony part to give you a little bit of elevation, or you can lift up and hold yourself, or you can just hang out here. Or if you like, you can do a few little roll-ups. So just improvise with what you've got at home, and we're just going to hang out here for a moment or two. So it's a restorative version of your shoulder bridge. Now, if you've got a higher block and you lift up a little bit more, wonderful, but just be aware, that's all. Just be aware of what's going on in your body, how your lower back feels. Now, this should feel actually really lovely after all of that hip work that we've done. This area of the body is going to be impacted in the practice and the postures that you've already done. So again, it's a wonderful opportunity for you just to breathe and be still. Breathing in and out. So you're doing so well. Last 5 breaths here. We're going to think about moving, and we're going to slide our prop from underneath and slowly, slowly roll down. Slowly, slowly, slowly roll. Very gently and kindly, we're going to bring one knee into the body and squeeze the knee down into the armpit. Breathing in and out. And then changing, bring the left knee in and out. Pulling in. And then if it feels right for you, you can pull both knees in, maybe give yourself a hug and a rock from side to side. And maybe some little circles, again massaging the spine into the floor. And then if you'd like to get your blankets, your socks, whatever you need for your Shavasana. So feeling into the stillness. Feeling into your physical body. Again, taking your awareness all the way inside. Taking your awareness through and down. Down through the midsection of the body. Feeling into the ribs. How do they feel now? Look into the hips. Into the knees. Into the heels. And all the way down into the toes. And if the unconscious mind does come up with whatever you're holding on to that you need to let go of, you may become aware of it coming to the surface right now. And if not, that's perfect too. Your unconscious mind knows the work that it needs to do. And if there was such a thing, what shape would it have? What colour would it be? Where in your body is it? As you allow your mind to wander right now, think about what you'd like instead. So what's the opposite of what you need to let go of? So if you have worry, what's the opposite for you? If you have tension, what's the opposite for you? If you have self-doubt, what is the opposite? Think about now what the opposite is and give it a vibrant colour. Now breathe that colour down into your physical body, dissolving whatever it is that no longer serves you. Because remember, whenever you let go of something, there's a vacuum. Something else needs to take its place. Something else really needs to take its place. And so with joy and peace, with ease, you can have more of what you'd like. More energy, more peace, more freedom. And just allow that now to come all the way down into the body. Breathing in the energy, breathing in and out. Feel your body energizing through that colour, that intention. And then bring that intention maybe to your mouth and allow the corners of the mouth to turn up. Give yourself a little smile. Know that that energy is wonderful too. And then breathe lots of positive energy down into your physical body. Energizing yourself, wiggling your fingers and toes, gently rocking your head from side to side, bending your knees and taking your feet down to the floor. Rolling over to the left side, posture of new beginnings. And then when you're ready, coming all the way up to seated. Bring your hands to your heart space and just bow your head as you focus on today's affirmation. I let go of everything that no longer serves me, and I welcome the good and the new and the resourceful right into my life. And so it is. Namaste, namaste, namaste.